Hello and welcome back to Paranormal Investigators Discuss Project Fear. This is episode 7, as I'm sure you're aware, and I'm joined by a great investigator, Lucy.
Hello.
Hello. So, Billy Creek Village. In this episode, they take a bit of, normally have a warm-up, a little bit of fun. Do you remember in the old days, they used to have go surfing or something, I don't know, do frolic on that log flume thing they once did before going on the big thing. But now, Alex says, oh no, we're going to go to this Billy Creek Village before we do the proper investigation. So I don't know what's happened next week, whether next week is where they all thought it was going to be or what.
Yeah.
70 acres, which is massive, 38 buildings, and the photo evidence of the boy stood in the classroom. Pretty damn good, I thought.
I thought so, because you could see details. You could see where his legs were, where you see the texture on his outfit. Yeah, quite good.
Very compelling, that one, yeah. So they say that the Civil War house is where it all sort of kicks off. We've got a spirit who wants to interact. I mean, we've had plenty of that. We don't, a lot of them, if they don't want to interact, you don't know they're there, do you?
No.
So, So Chelsea goes out and about on her own, and she goes to the church building. I mean, fair play to Chelsea yet again. That is creepy. If I were entering a building on my own like that, I'd be creeped out. I'll be honest,
yeah.
that triggered me a bit.
Yeah.
She hears a thud where there shouldn't be one and immediately goes towards it. I mean, what a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. She's so changed over her journey.
Yeah.
So she has a look around. There's not much going on. The opportunity to walk around a village would be fantastic, wouldn't it? If we got a location like that.
Oh, yeah.
So much opportunity. Every building you could do a few times.
Yeah.
So she goes into the schoolhouse, and there's a creak, which again shouldn't really be. She pulls out that PS device, and if you remember, she gets Candy She, which is a bizarre thing to get.
Yeah.
But yeah, confident enough to pull out a piece of equipment as well.
Yeah. I think it's good that they showed that they got something that made no sense, I think that was good to show that, and her interpretation of it potentially being a child who doesn't know how to spell, or that could be the case. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Pulls out the music box, which when you're on your own setting that up, and just the anticipation of that going off,
Yeah.
it is bloody creepy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then she goes further than that. She starts taking photos, and then the music box goes off, and she's in the process of taking a photo. And yeah, I mean, it shouldn't go off. What the hell is going on with that? We know what our equipment's like. If something's come close to it and touch it, you're just thinking, well, it ain't going to go off. I want it to go off, but chances are that it won't.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do. So the music box I thought goes off really well. It seemed to, not just a blip, was it? It was extended. No. Something was interacting with that thing. That's great. But I bet if we tried to order one, it'd be like $2,000 like everything else.
Yeah.
God damn it. So there was what do you think of this? The unexplained voice, wail/whimper. What do you think about that? Do you remember it?
Yeah, it was a good catch, and really, I can't imagine it was. I can't think of what it could have been. Obviously, you've maybe got wildlife, but it did. To me, it sounded human, like a woman.
It did, yeah. Now it totally made me remember where I've got a video under Victoria Hall in Keighley, where we were doing the Ouija board, and we got and I was really impressed. And yet our teammate Jill was like, it's just a fox, and continues to shoot it down that it's just wildlife. And so but even so, that what they caught, I thought, that's a whimper, that's a human noise.
Yeah, it's the thing with foxes as well, because surprisingly, I live in the middle of nowhere, and I've only heard them twice living here. But because Colin used to live in London, they were everywhere. And when you hear a fox, it's like you hear more than just one sound. Like it becomes so apparent that it is an animal.
Yeah.
because they're so loud. You think it's a woman screaming initially.
Right.
So,
it's like that then.
Yeah. It does sound like a woman, but like it's like a blood curdling scream for help is what it sounds like. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to Google it.
But I think you'd know because you'd actually go towards whatever it was, because it would be prolonged, and you'd go and then you'd realise there's no. People have rang the police so many times.
Yeah.
Over the noise of foxes. So yeah, I'd probably discount wildlife in yours and in Project Fear's one on that. Cause, yeah, if it's just a little one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not animals fighting, is it? Because they just continue.
Well, the three lads in the car would be like, "Oh, I can hear that. Surely, if it's a fox."
Yeah, they'd have heard it from there, definitely.
Yeah, she did say it was outside. That's what made me think, oh, yeah, animal. So she walks into an old house, realizes it's the medical building. Creepy as hell when you've got like medical equipment. Something weird about it, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's a PS device. She's on it for 36 minutes first. Describe what this building was used for. I mean, it works before, didn't it? It's worked for blood. Again, third week running, sort of the main locations where a word ties in with. But I mean, 36 minutes. She was saying things in that time. It's not like she didn't get a response. It's just that they didn't use it in the edit for whatever reason, which feels a little bit like if I were to only put in our edits the words that rung true.
Yeah.
You know. But then she does it for 21 more minutes. Now that is a lot. That's practically an hour of just waiting for this device to spit out words. I would be bored.
Yeah.
You know. But it's for TV. You've got to get what you can get, and they stay there longer. But yeah, I'd be quite bored by then. So she finally goes to the Civil War house. This place is where supposedly something will interact with you. She cleverly sets up a camera, knowing that this is like the hotspot.
Yeah.
So she's got that locked off camera, which she didn't do for any of the others. You know, it has been said online. Why didn't she? But there's a thump, there's a tap. She puts down the EMF device, creak, make a noise. If you want me up there, make a noise. If you want me up there, tap, significant tap. And she asks again, and there's a definite goddamn shuffling noise upstairs. I mean, that really was some Blair Witch stuff, you know. And she goes up to it. She bloody goes up. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure I'd go up eventually, but I would be very reticent to walk into a more secluded area of the house.
And also the stairs were like, and I don't think you get this much in England, but a lot of the stairs in American houses, particularly that one, they're wooden, they're solid, they're narrow, and they're just creepy. And to think, like, also she pushed it. She said, make a noise that's so significant that it'll make me have to come upstairs. And I thought that's because there were people online saying, oh, she didn't really investigate that house well. But I think she really did. And looking at when she filmed up those stairs, I just thought, you are brave.
Yeah.
Because if you're running up them or down them because you're scared, if you hit your head on one of them,
Yeah.
No,
I thought she investigated very well. I could say I was like, credit, because I'd be second thoughts about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, but going up, it's like going down a tunnel. That's there's only one way out. Once she goes up, she's got to come down those steps.
Yeah.
It's a long run to the front door, isn't it? I think is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, that's what I felt. Yeah.
Maybe because we investigate, we can put ourselves in that position. And when you're looking at it through night vision and everything, and she didn't do that very well. It's like you don't know what it's like to be there. Yeah. And you might be all right. You stood alone in the house, but then as soon as you're hearing your voice saying, "Can you do something?" You're so vulnerable.
Yeah.
Then she gets the footsteps downstairs really, really well. I cannot say that's something natural. You hear footsteps downstairs, and then you're cornered, aren't you? She's upstairs and has to run to it.
Yeah.
Absolute nightmare. The EMF device also goes off at the same time. I mean, what more evidence do you need? I think that's solid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is.
So, yeah, she had a camera down. She's done everything she could. I think there's no fault with that. And then you hear movement again. Just there shouldn't be any, and she leaves, and I cannot blame her for saying that's enough.
Yeah.
So what's your overall thoughts on the place? And
I think it was a good place. I think it felt like a bit of a pit stop, which is, they said it pretty much is. Yeah. I'm not mad that they made a whole episode out of it. I think it was good to switch it up a little bit and see, especially a female alone doing it. I could relate to it because I do it a lot on my own. And you have to be brave. And I think she got good evidence. She investigated well. And when she got that, when the EMF went off downstairs in the what's it called? The
Civil War house.
Civil War house, yeah. I just, that feeling, and you get it in a dream where you can't run fast enough.
Yeah.
I just felt she must feel like that, and I think she did really well to gather herself and pack her stuff up and remember to take everything. Because if that had been me, I think I'd have ran back to the car and got the guys to go and get my stuff.
Makes sense.
Yeah, overall, I enjoyed it. I did. I think they should definitely go back and do
absolutely
multiple houses all on their own in a different house, and try loads of different things. Maybe take it in turns to do the Civil War house. See, maybe the spirit might dislike women or men, who knows. I think there's a lot of potential with that one, and I'm glad they gave us a taste of it.
Yeah, exactly, that's the point, isn't it? It's like, hey, here's a little bonus more.
Yeah.
And if that comes up in a future episode, fantastic. And I think that place is crying out for a Ouija board. If you and I were there, it's like, okay, you want to talk? What have you got to say? Can you imagine? It'd be brilliant.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If only we lived over there, because they've got a lot of, obviously it's a lot bigger than England, so they've got a lot more. And to move houses as well, to put them all together there. Am I right that they would have transported the houses?
Apparently so. I mean, they said foundations and everything.
Yeah, I've seen a show where they do that, and I think it's called Big House Movers or something.
Yeah.
And that alone is wow, people don't do that here.
No, absolutely not.
But everything's bigger and better in America, so.
But I heard a podcast where some American guy was saying, I'm moving. And they're like, oh, not really. Not, you can hardly call it moving. It's only 2 hours away. And I'm like, if I go to the coast for 2 hours drive, I'm like, that's my limit. I've drove for too long. They're just like, oh, it's down the road. Americans, they just think nothing of driving for a day, do they? Stopping off and no, not the English. We us to 4 hours to London is like a real extent in it. It's like,
oh yeah, I see that as a massive road trip to go to London. I don't like doing it.
No, people are like, oh, I really don't look forward to that. Yeah. So to go a bit further, just tell us about the equipment and what you were telling me before, what you've been doing in your house.
Oh, right. So I was inspired by Project Fear when they've been doing their torch work. Just a simple, because I think sometimes you have to dial it back because we can get carried away with what's the newest equipment, and then it becomes really expensive. And I'd been looking into word banks and stuff and realizing that they are just random word generators. But I'm not saying that's the case with the Ovulus and the
big ones,
device, because I don't know how they work. But the apps that I've tried to use are just not, So I dialed it back and I bought a mag light and some cat balls, and I sat my creepy clown doll on the chair. But I did sit with the torch for a while. As told you as I was doing it, didn't I?
Yeah.
Just to see if it'd go off while I was just watching TV and not asking any spirits to do anything, and it didn't go off. So then I put my camera on and started asking it questions, and it did go off. So that's why I did the experiment with the doll sat in the chair. I thought I could use that as a trigger object. A lot of people were saying, is that doll haunted? And I was like, no, I have no reason to believe it's haunted. So we just used it as a trigger object, and I got responses from the torch. So
you did, yeah.
I was happy with that because it took a long time as well for it to come on.
Yeah.
And I think it's good when people can see that torch is not got anything touching it at all. So then, yeah, when it comes on, it's like, whoa.
Yeah, it's good, especially after a long time. I mean, that's all part of it, isn't it? Putting it on. If it flashes all the time, then you kind of got to rule it out. But when it's static and not doing anything, it's good evidence. I mean, literally, if there's something in your house lying dormant, as we all generally have, you called it forward, it answered.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's good. Excellent work. Well, like I say, the reaction was online, what I saw, oh, I'm not going to watch any more of this series if this is what we're going to do. It's like, what? Who are you to decide what they do? They do what they want, and you sod off if you want. But they're doing what they want, and we're not all hating on it.
No, somebody said, if the next episode doesn't get loads of stuff, then I'm out. Well, so what? You want them to fake something so that it's entertaining for you?
Yeah.
Like, the good thing, like we always say, is they seem to be the most authentic investigators that are out there. So yeah, bitching about it online that not much has happened is, you know, I enjoy watching it even if nothing happened, just for the history of the places that they're in. Seeing what buildings look like after 50 years of being abandoned is cool to see. There's loads more to it. So yeah, I don't get what people's problem is at all with it. I really don't get it.
Ghost hunting is 90% waiting, isn't it? You know, the things that we get last 2 seconds. And it makes your evening, you know.
Yeah.
So, on to the next then. Thank you, Lucy, for your time. Thank you for everyone watching, and we'll see you for episode 8. Thank you.
Thank you.